That transition was so smooth.
I thought Duchess was picking his nose, so I tried to get him with his finger off his nose, but he wasn't. He was scratching his beard.
Wow. With that being said, welcome and hello, everyone, to a new episode of Codename Wired. We actually have something special lined up for you. We've gotten some feedback from people, so we're going to start doing something a little bit new. We're transitioning the show just a little bit to kind of essentially break this down into helping you guys out there, our wonderful viewers, to learning how to become the next M-Turk, essentially. So, you know, we can't do this without our show sponsor. So, I mean, huge shout out to Anthony Ramella. He is a hell of a fella. You know, if it wasn't for him helping us out with everything that we needed, then we probably wouldn't be here, aside from, you know, having viewers like you guys. So thank you for all of that. If you do want anything done multimedia wise, then you can head over to shakeandbakemedia.com, your one-stop shop for all things multimedia, and you know, get all that taken care of. You can also go follow Anthony Ramella. I'm _ Anthony Ramella over on IG. Send him a message and he'll get you all hooked up and everything else. Otherwise, we're going to get started with our buffets before we get into everything else, and you know, the challenge from last week, and then how we're going to transition this show. And we're going to do some beginner tutorials. So,
Yes, sir.
This is going to be a fun experience walking you guys through this. So I know I'm real excited for it. I know obviously my fantastic co-hosts Sloan and Jay are also real excited for this, and we're all gonna obviously play our parts. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. So when we get to certain areas, each one of us is going to do that certain section, so that way it can be shown off properly. Otherwise, who wants to start out with their buffets?
Go on, Jay.
All right. Let's see. I got the goon sitting on top of the suicide queen. Let's see, camera picking that up. There you go. And it's the Stewart Crew goon right there.
Ooh,
and that I have the Huck cookie. It's a huckleberry cookie thing I did like a couple of weeks ago on mixing it up. Then next we got the Recoil Rebel on top of this guy. What was this thing called again? The Aspen Mods.
Oh, the Monarch.
The Monarch, yes.
Yeah.
That I got Mystery Liquid. And then lastly, we're going to go with the Intake Duel on top of the Aria. And in that, I got, what was this? Yeah. It was Pound 'em in the Buttered Scotch. And that was a butterscotch pound cake or something that I did. Rum cake. So, yeah. And that's me. All right. Sloan, you want to take it away?
Okay. Well, I have, as usual, heavy hitter of the OG Recoil. In that, I have some Panther Black. It's like a creamy tobacco. It's really nice. I've got the Golden Robot Dildo on top of the Odin 250C.
It's still ridiculous that tank sits that big on that.
It annoys me because I don't know if you can see the overhang.
You need like a hammer of God for that thing, dude.
I know. That's what I was saying. I want to get a LiPo box for it, but...
No, get a hammer of God. It's a Para series.
Oh, yeah, because they done the DNA 400 version of it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, try with the same shit as last night, but different liquid. In that, I've got Banana Man. Lastly,
that's what happens when he has to do shows back to back.
Yeah. Lastly, you got the billet box with the Molan bridge inside, and then there's another new liquid by Vaponair. It's chestnut cake, which is really nice. That's me done, and I'm drinking water. Duchess.
So I got a few things set up. Just been kind of playing around with some stuff. This one, I'm not proud of the mod. All right, don't get me wrong. This was also my first mech mod, and I did no shit. All right, so that's your little.
Is it blown up?
That's your little. No, not yet.
Then why are you not proud of this?
You'll understand when you see the title.
Fair enough.
So I've got a Wasp Nano on top. This is actually not mine. This is Logan's Wasp Nano. I was just fucking around with it. But
enough.
I did put something special in there. I have an exotic build in this one. And then that's sitting on top of the V-God Pro Mech V2. So little old school 18650. Inside, I got some seafood mustaches. Baby, come back.
There you go. The new bottles.
Fantastic tobacco custard. And then I have the clutch with the Requiem RDA on top and some toffee custard from Still Valley Vapors. And then I needed a squonk. I broke out the challenge coil was too chunky for me to put it in anything else. So I ended up having to actually like slot it into the QP Neo. So I've got the QP Neo sitting on top of that Vanny Vape Pulse BF80 box mod. And on the inside, I've got this liquid. I pulled this off of Logan's shelf because he was like, I don't even like any of these fucking liquids, so just vape them. And I was like, all right, fine. But it's fantastic though. It's like a citrus medley, like limes and oranges and shit like that. It's real good. But I do have the Tsuka inside of there for the challenge. And then I have another exotic in here. Just running it in single coil, like real old school, 2015. Inside that Turk V2, but that's sitting on top of the heavy hitter because I wanted a 21 to run that. And inside there, I've got the Plume Room's banana pudding. This is actually pretty good, though. I mean, I'm kind of getting a little weird of an off note somewhat, but otherwise it's not too bad.
What tastes like lemon Windex?
Ow, shit.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. Wait, are you making a reference to the Windex joke between Logan and I?
I don't know. What was that liquid? There was a rescued liquid that Logan swore had something it didn't have in it.
It was Vulcan, and he thought it had marshmallow.
Ah, yes.
But here's the thing: we have very, very, very different taste buds we're figuring out because he's got a ton of liquids that he loves, and I'm like, bro, that tastes like fucking cleaner, or that tastes like car wash freshener, or whatever. And then I let him test, that blueberry Mountain Dew from Sifu, and I absolutely love it. But when he tasted it, he was like, it tastes like fucking Windex, and I'm like, all right.
He's very anti was it desserts, so that's already a strike.
Yeah, he's not a dessert person. He's like a fruit citrusy, like blue lemonade sort of person, which is fine.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
and I love it. I'll stick to my desserts. I'm good.
Right.
Get all the truffles.
So I go from one to the other. I never stick at one for too long.
Right.
I don't mind fruit. It's just I like desserts way more.
See, I loved the Boule until I had that Banana Man, and now I prefer Banana Man over Boule. So I've still got like 60 mils left of Boule, where that would have been
Wait,
gone.
You prefer Banana Man over fucking Banana Land? Are you serious?
See, Boule belongs in one place and one place only. The fucking garbage can.
Boule is fucking amazing, bro.
Boule is fucking disgusting.
I really liked it. I vaped so much of it, but since being on the Banana Man and having a liter of it, I've just been plowing through it. I've been preferring it.
He's like, was it liter of Banana Man? Liter?
Yeah.
I want a liter of cola.
I'll take a liter of cola. Anyway,
Well, so how's everyone been? You all been good? All been happy?
Yeah,
Living
you know
that
what? The transition has been real nice. The East Coast people have been real friendly and welcoming. So thank you, Tribal Buddha, because I know you're on my side of the country. fuck everybody else. I'm sorry, I don't care where you live. No, just kidding. That's fucked up.
I want to get out of Texas.
Work has been real fun.
That's fine.
Things are getting a little intense and shit like that. So, but not too bad. I'm excited for this new year to start, so we can prove to everyone that it's going to be exactly the same as the last 3.
Dude, every year is the same since I turned 18. I don't know. There's just like, okay, I'm doom and gloom, and I'm a huge pessimist. So to me, everything's the same. It's the same bullshit every year.
Yeah,
we just got to write a different year on our checks, and we don't even write checks anymore. So what the
fuck? Next year will be a good year. I get to go on holiday.
Well, what the fucking do for you?
It's not going to fucking happen. You're going to be put on another lockdown.
Tribal says eat coasters.
Eat coasters, baby.
It says eat coasters, not east. But coasters.
No, it says eat coasters, not coaters.
That's funny. But so, do we want to get into the new stuff, or do we want to go over the challenge? The options yours.
You're the man in charge. You decide.
You know what? Yeah, let's do the new stuff since we still have people haven't fallen asleep to us just yet.
Right.
So that way we could do it while we still have their attention.
All right, pay attention. He's going to teach you how to build.
Yeah. So, sorry, I knocked over my fucking coil rod. So we've gotten some feedback from people, like I said at the start, where they were real interested in learning how to build, right? And they're reaching out to the three of us, obviously, because we're on this show, to essentially help guide you in the right direction of where you need to be, right? I know there's people in chat that also know how to build, right? But I know us three are relatively somewhat established. So, I mean, that obviously helps somewhat.
It's funny because like the one thought that went through my head is like, because every other tutorial was done like 5 years ago and things have updated since.
Yeah. Right? And so that was also a big thing, right? Is that like we could suggest, go watch Sherlock Holmes, or if you want to learn how to build aliens, go to Pristine Builds and you can watch M-Turk do it. That's how I learned how to do them. We could suggest a million different videos, but things have obviously progressed considerably since those videos were made and put out, and obviously information needs to be updated, right? So this is kind of a two-parter. One, this is to help you learn how to build, right? Where to start, what you're looking for, etc. And then the other part is for your own safety. If you're going to be doing this, obviously you need to learn how to be safe doing this, right? Because there's a lot of factors that could go wrong, and it could harm you and or seriously injure you. So we want to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. So with that being said, you're really only going to need a few things. I mean, this hasn't really changed over the years, but just to help reiterate it, you're really only going to need a few things just to get yourself started, right? You're definitely going to need a pair of pliers for one, right? These are going to come in handy whether you're trying to pull the coil through the fucking holes, like the post holes, or you need
get them off of the spool.
Yeah, or you're pulling wire off the spool, which I'm gonna show you later. And then the other big tool, well, one of the biggest tools that you're gonna need is you're gonna need a pair of flush cuts. You can't cut wire without flush cuts. I know it sounds real silly that we even have to mention it, but I've seen people use scissors and clippers and all kinds of shit, right? So
I've never understood the use of scissors. Like I get it with ribbon wire because it's so thin, but beyond that, I don't know.
Right. So I mean, you can buy these two things, at your local Harbor Freight, or if you're in the UK, I think it's B&M, right, Adam?
Mhm.
Yeah, B&Q, fucking home base anywhere.
Yeah.
Amazon.
These are real cheap. Yeah, you can get them from Amazon. I mean, if you get them from Harbor Freight, they're like $4 a piece or something. So you just spent like $8
Yeah.
and you're good.
You could get some decent ones cheap. I mean, they're not gonna be.
Yeah.
They'll, especially
You
if
know
you
what?
build like we do, you'll tear through them real quick. But
These, my
Still.
pliers, I actually took these out of my Coil Master kit. And I just
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah. The kit that the Coil Master does, I think on Amazon in the UK, it's £7
oh,
for
that's
the
not
for
bad.
the whole kit.
Yeah, that's not
That's
bad
not
at all.
Thing is,
Oh.
don't before we go any further, I just want to say, don't fucking be pulled in by like Watofo and shit like that.
Yeah, you
And-
don't need
and, like,
anything big and
14
fancy.
quid,
As long as it
'cause-
fucking works.
For
Yeah,
3 days use.
that Watofu, the
Yeah.
snips suck. I broke mine real quick. I like the kit because everything that comes in it, but in all reality, I mean, snippers, they were garbage. The scissors
don't-
were kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go for the expensive just because they are a vape company. Just go for proper stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper as well. A lot cheaper, half price.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the couple other things that you're obviously going to need for me right now, because I don't have my desk and everything is mobile, I'm going to unclip this actually. So I apologize for the loud bang that you're about to hear. But you can buy a pair of these. This is a C clamp over at like Home Depot or Lowe's for like $20 or something. They're not real expensive. And then this is my swivel that I'm using currently. I do have a better one from Classic Clouds, but because everything is mobile, I'm not about to use that other one.
Yeah.
And this one, I actually bought this from Saddle Horse Blues. You can still buy these from Saddle Horse Blues. So if you're looking for a swivel mount, then head over to saddlehorseblues.com and you can pick your tools up there.
As far as swivels are concerned, do not buy the small ones. Make sure
Yeah,
you get
I'm actually
massive
about to
ones.
show that off. So the swivels that I'm using, right? Because you're obviously going to need swivels in order to hook this wire up to, right, for it to spin. Double ball bearing fucking swivels. I got the size 5 Fisher ones that Clown is also showing
Let's
off.
move it over
I've
so
got
you can
size
show.
8s. I've got size 5s. The
Yeah.
only difference is the pounds that it's.
I mean, I've been using the same one for like almost 4 years. So just saying.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did.
He had the 10-pound ones. First of all, I still don't know how the hell you were putting
Yeah, he
wire
had like
through that little
fucking
eyelet.
size -0, bro. Holy shit.
Fuck, I can't even find it. It's so
So
small.
you're definitely gonna need swivels, right? Obviously, you need those. I also want to point out that we do have a Google Doc with with links and stuff like that on there for tools and where you can find them, etc. I think Adam can put that in the show description for you guys later.
Yep. Yeah, I'll whack that.
And
Should
that way
be on
it'll
there.
be a little easier for you to find it.
And
And
if you
then-
have if you're a builder and you have any suggestions for more stuff we can add to the list, let us know because we are looking for any information we can get out there.
Yeah. I mean, and then obviously you're going to need a drill. You can buy a cheap drill just to get you by. I started on a cheap, like $20 drill from Walmart that ran at like 600 RPMs. I mean, and it worked fine, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, this one's a little more expensive because it's fucking DeWalt, and I have obviously upgraded things. But
The one thing about the drill, if you hold the drill up, Duchess, you hold the drill up. If you look where the actual the chuck is, it's a straight line to the back of the drill. Make sure you have a drill that's straight. My first drill was pointed up at an angle.
yeah, some of them
Make sure it's dead straight because you're gonna. What I ended up having to do was buy an articulated vise to then attach to the table to have the drill upside down. So
Yeah.
it's something little silly like that I never thought of when I first started building. That make
Yeah.
sure that drill is in a straight line, not angled.
The reason this is important, right, of the angle of how your chuck is because if this wire isn't straight through from the swivels to the chuck, right, and something is off, you're gonna end up snapping your wire doing it because one, there's going to be a lot of fucking chatter in the wire, right? Which is that vibration that you get. But two, because it's starting to pull too hard, like as it comes up, right? And you're going to snap your wrapping wire doing it. And then it's just going to be a frustration. You're going to be like, fuck this. I don't want to do it no more. So don't let it discourage you. Get something that's fucking straight.
Yeah.
That's literally the simplest thing. But the swivels that Jay was talking about, and I apologize for this board. It's been sitting over there collecting dust because Logan doesn't like fiddle with wire anymore. But he did have his own swivel, right? So you can also just get a piece of fucking board and attach some swivels to it. These swivels, don't buy these swivels. These are bad, like bad.
They're too small.
Yeah, one, they're too small. They don't take enough. You're going to put too much pressure and you're going to snap them. And then two, eventually those are going to burn out after like the third time you use them. Probably not that fast, but still, nonetheless.
Because even if you look at the old videos of M-Tuck making aliens, his swivels are just attached to a piece of wood that has been C-clamped to the table. So you don't need these big fancy Saddle Horse Blues, Classic Clouds, or Coil Factory swivels. You can just screw them into a board and you'll be fine. I'll do what my mate did was had a table next to the drawers and have it had like in
you can do what Tribal Buddha says. His truck is at a slight angle upwards. He just puts his in a vise and straightens things out, and it clamps to the battery. So that way you can straighten things out.
If you're like me, that you just love making things for no reason at all, and you like taking your trips to Home Depot at like 6 a.m. and just buying random pieces of plywood, you could seriously make a good swivel stand out of anything.
Yeah, you really
because I've done it.
You really can. So with that, so you got two options, right? Oh, actually, I almost forgot. You're obviously going to need wire, right? So for this demonstration, because everyone knows what I use, I'm using kidney puncher, but you can really just use whatever you want, honestly. Being that you're starting out, I would honestly suggest ordering some cheap fucking wire from like Amazon. I know they have kits and stuff like that you can buy. So that way you're not wasting too much money, right? Because you're going to waste a lot of fucking wire starting out trying to figure out how to do these things and whatnot, right? So you could do that. If you don't want to order it from Amazon, your next step, honestly, I would go to wireoptim.com and I would pick up, some small spools, 250 foot or whatever at max spools from Wire Optim and then go from there. Right.
And if you're in the UK, head over to Juice Junkie because they're between £2 and £5 for a small spool. Yeah. So that's always a cheaper option as well.
I will give an asterisk to the Amazon wire. It's cheap for a reason. It tastes like garbage, but if you're learning, it's a great way to practice. So
yeah,
that's all I gotta say about that.
So the reason I said you're gonna need these, right? This spool. So unlike the Wire Optim ones, I don't have any of those little notches to hold my wire. I personally just pull it straight off the fucking spool and straighten it that way. Because it also tucks it underneath the wire and it holds it, so I don't actually have to tape anything down so my spool doesn't come undone. I don't use spool tamers or anything. But you can get spool tamers if you want them. You can also get those from Amazon, and they're a fantastic investment. But with that, you're just going to take your wire, right? Hold it, and then just kind of pull a little bit off, right? And then it's not straight, right? You can see that there's still a bend in this if it'll stop shaking. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten this. I'm going to show you kind of the old school way that a lot of people used to do it. Personally, I like to pull it straight off the spool. And that's just a personal preference thing. You can really just do it however you want, to be honest.
He likes to pull it off the spool and tug away.
Yeah, tug away. But quick, vape break.
He's been talking too long.
Yep. So you're gonna take your drill and point this down just a little bit so you guys can see better. And then my drill, right? This is something to look out for too. When your drill is completely closed, mine has a little fucking hole in the middle.
What's fucked is all the high end ones have that. It really annoys
a
me.
lot of them are starting to do this, so be careful because your wire will slip. You're not just going to slot it straight in there. So I have another way for you guys to do it, right? And this actually works out pretty well, right? So you can take your wire and you can just kind of barely bend a small piece on the end at a 90-degree angle, right? You're going to take that piece and in one of these little slots, you're just going to slot your wire into the chuck of the drill and slowly close it. Make sure everything is lined up. And lock that into place. With your pliers, you're going to take the other end of your wire, hold it off just a little bit, and don't give it a little bit of tension, but not too much, because otherwise you'll fuck your shit up. Right?
You don't want to fuck your shit up.
And then you're just going to kind of spin it. It would also help if my drill wasn't locked. I'm sorry. That did not straighten it one fucking bit, and this is why I don't. There we go.
Yeah, you just run that bitch at full speed. You don't half-ass it.
Yeah. So, and then there you go. You can take it out of the chuck, and then it straightens the wire out for you. So you can do it that way. That's kind of like the real old school way of doing it, but it takes a long ass fucking time, because then you're like, when you get to doing like multi-core stuff, you got to do that over and over and over again. And
that, or you could just cut the long ass piece and then just cut it into sections afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that too. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to actually show you how to actually set this Clapton up and get it actually wrapped up. And then we're going to install it into an RDA.
Tribal, that's too much time for
So
Duchess.
Because that is too much time, bro. I just pull straight off the fucking spool, like I said.
And then he tugs away.
Because I already had that bend, I'm going to take the swivel and I'm going to put it on that bent end. I'm just going to bend this over real quick. And then I like to use the pliers because I'm not going to lie, my fingers aren't strong enough. Clamp both pieces of the wire and just kind of give it a few twists around itself, just to kind of hold that wire in place, right? And that way it's now locked onto that swivel. Then, obviously, hook this up to the swivel. You're going to mount that. So you can see this is mounted to the, oh, no, you can't see it, sorry. This is now mounted to the swivel, right? We've got it clamped. And then on the other end, and I mean, I could have done this the other way too, honestly, but I'm just going to put another 90-degree angle in this. And the reason I like to do the 90-degree angle, other than because I have a hole in the fucking middle, is just so that way my wire has something to hold on to, right? So when I slot this in the chuck, I'm now going to take the 36 gauge, and this 36 gauge is going to wrap around this little piece of wire. So that way it has something to hold on to as it starts to rotate. That's actually a trick that I picked up from watching fucking M-Turk's alien video. So in case you're wondering. But you're just going to pull the wire off, right? Don't pull it completely off the spool though. But just take a little and give it a few wraps. So that way it has a nice little hold, right? Put some tension, but not too much tension in the wire so you don't snap it. And then for me, I like to personally pulse it just a little bit just to kind of line things up. Also, this other fucking wire is in the way. To snip off that excess. I also just cut that fucking wire because I wasn't trying to Christ, dude. Of course, this would be my
Dude,
left.
he's out of practice.
I am out of practice. I don't normally show people how to fucking build, bro, to be honest.
I don't know. For the wire prodigy, you should just have had this down already.
So now that I've gotten a few wraps on that, Adam, if you wouldn't mind muting me, because I am actually going to spin this drill. That's going to be loud.
Okay.
So I'm going to go a little bit slow, and then I might pick it up a little bit so you guys will see. But I'm going to start out slow just so you can kind of get the grasp of what the wire should be doing. Right?
Give me a thumbs up when you want me to mute it, and then unmute it. Right.
All right, so we got to do this part like golfers, where we're like, all right, there he is spinning the drill. The drill is
What?
spinning.
And he got a bogey. Guys, what you got to remember about this this part of the build is where you got the core wire like this. When you Clapton, most people want to try and keep it 90 degrees. To what I go a bit behind 90 degrees just to get that tighter wrap. But for your first couple of goes, keep it at a 90 degree just till you get the hang of it.
Yeah, and start off slow because in all reality, if you go fast, that thing will get the hell away from you, and then you'll get the wire start doing this thing where it just gargle hoofs for you. Which, I mean, if that's what you're going for, you'll do amazing. But if you're trying to Clapton, you gotta start off slow and then eventually build up speed. And the more comfortable you get with it, the more better it'll get. Like, honestly, I mean, watch, he's already got like the drill going pretty much at full speed at this point.
Yeah, so it's always good to start slow.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get that. See, what I normally do, especially with the lathe drill, when we get a bit further into like the aliens, I push the drill end first to get a couple of them laying in, just at speed, and then I then start picking up speed.
Yeah.
But for Claptons, as long as you start good, you generally and keep that momentum. And where if you look at his right hand that's holding the spool, he's holding it in between his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just letting it just keep that little bit of tension on it, just so the wire don't go fucking everywhere.
We'll
Just
say
do it.
one thing I never got how guys did this shit because I to this day still don't care to do it is holding the outer the wrap wire by hand instead of in the spool. People used to cut it, like they would measure it out and then cut it and then hold it by hand.
Oh no, fuck.
And I've never been comfortable doing that or wanted to do that.
No, I've always been holding it on the spool. And if you've got little hands or if you've got a problem with dexterity in that, you can get. I think there's a 3D company do it, like the little clasp.
Yeah, they do little holder clamp thingies, and you just hold it like this, and you could actually apply pressure based on how fast the thing's going, and it'll let go at a different pressure points and stuff. So, yeah, if you have dexterity issues and stuff like that, it'll help with that.
You're unmuted now, Duchess.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, like the guys were saying, just kind of start out nice and slow, and let it get the grasp of what you're actually supposed to be doing. Right? You don't want to go full speed like I did. At a certain point, I only did that just to show you like what the wire actually does.
That's like we said. If you get comfortable, you'll start going faster, but do start off slow just to make your existence easier.
Yeah, and just kind of pay attention to what the wire is doing. Like my two fine co-hosts, these two gentlemen right here, had said, just to kind of reiterate, go slow and just kind of hold that wire at roughly about a 90-degree angle. For the way that I personally build, right, when I was holding it, that wire spool should have been roughly around my belly button area, right, because how low my drill sits.
Yeah.
Right? So I should have just left it at that 90 degrees because of where I'm at, and then it just kind of it should stay perpendicular, right? So that it should just go straight across. Just leave it at that 90 degree, and then everything should work out fine. Now, I mean, if for instance you see that you're getting too much gap or whatever the case is, then I mean, like these guys said, your angle is probably way too far forward. And so with that, your wires now, instead of wrapping straight over, it's now wrapping at an angle. Right. So you're obviously going to have those gaps, and it's going to stagger that. So just kind of pay attention to what you're doing. When I started out, I'm not going to lie, right? So don't feel bad if anyone actually ends up doing this. I used to hold my breath, and even now when I'm building, depending on what I'm actually doing, I still hold my breath when I'm actually doing it. For some reason, it's a natural habit for me to do.
And the great thing about Claptons, what you guys got to remember is if you do it wrong, you can always back to drill up and re-go again.
Yeah. That's
when you get further down the line with Staggers, Aliens, and that. Once you bugger it, you buggered it, really.
Yeah.
But
and then once you do it, I mean, you can see the end here, right? But once you do it, it should have like a nice clean wrap. I actually got to tighten this up though, because of the way that I do my shit. I always like have a really
decoring it, weren't you?
Yeah, I have a really loose wrap on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys
the
had
core
any
wire.
advice for that, because I'm shit for doing Claptons that won't try to like decore. Especially
Honestly, once
like
you're done with the decor and you clip it, if you hold the end of it and you spin it, it'll tighten up those wraps.
Okay.
So instead of reversing it in order to loosen it, if you spin it in the same direction and just hold that end, it should tighten up all those wraps, which I'm actually about to do.
There you go.
Because I don't want this wire slipping all over the place when I go to coil it up.
And just remember, when you're wrapping coils, you could have the tightest wraps, but because of the way you're wrapping, you will get little tiny gaps over, like we call it the hump. I don't know what you want to call it. When as it goes over the actual bit, you will get gaps. It doesn't mean it's a shit build. It's just the way it is. It's hard. It's not impossible to keep them clean.
Yeah.
On the wrap over. So we'll just mute him for a second. So don't ruin people's ears for the second time in one show.
That wasn't too bad. At least I didn't think so.
Right. It's still going. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. But yeah, so I mean, Claptons are very easy to do, very simple, very to the point. It's just, I'll be honest, for all your building that you're ever going to do, whether you're going to go into, I know, I'm just saying, for everything you're going to go into fused Claptons, into multi-core fused Claptons, into aliens, into Fralians, all that shit. Try to get your basics down, because in all reality, it'll make your existence so much better. Because I was the kind of idiot that didn't try to do basics. I tried jumping ahead, and it made my life more impossible for no reason. And that's a lesson learned, and I'm trying to make sure you guys don't go through all that for no reason.
Sorry about that.
Look, he's alive.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
I'm actually going to, just to help this not slide so much, I'm going to take this end and I'm going to clamp the fuck out of it.
Sorry to all those that get offended by burping. You know who you are.
So, tighten that down. So if you're going to coil this up, right, you're obviously building so you can fucking, do coils. Obviously, you're going to need a coil rod. I got this one, obviously, out of my Coil Master kit. Close as it.
You can buy those on eBay. They're like $2-3,
Yeah.
or other
Personally,
places. Or
I personally really like it. The good thing about this specific one that I have is that you'll see it's got these little holes on the side, right? And that's actually for your Clapton, right? So there's 2 holes on the top next to the coiling rod. You're going to take your wire, if you're going to do it this way, right? Because I've got enough, I could build probably 2 coils out of this. But actually, before I do that, I have something else I want to talk about. And this actually plays into this, right? So if you wouldn't mind, Adam, sharing that screen.
There we go.
Yeah. So right here, we have a screen, right? And this is Wire Wizard. This is done by Steam Engine, in case anyone is curious. So you can just Google Steam Engine Wire Wizard, and it'll come up. I still use this to this day in order to figure out like how to get to a certain build and what I need to do it, right? Just so that way I know that my safety is intact and that we are good to build this. Because if I don't feel safe doing this, I'm not even going to attempt it, to be honest. So Wire Wizard is going to start out. These are all set to default right now, but you have 4 separate categories up here for your coil setup. All right. If you hover over them long enough, it will tell you a little definition. This is the inner diameter, obviously, of the coil, right? Everyone understands how inner diameter works for the most part. Now, your inner diameter is going to change your resistance. And the reason for that is because if you think about it in terms of like a water pipe, right? Obviously, the bigger that pipe is, the more water that can flow through it. It's the same thing with electricity, right? So the bigger the gauge, right? So 24, 26, 20 gauge, right? Those are bigger gauges, right? That's more metal, which means that more electricity can flow through it. So your ohms, your resistance is going to be lower. There's not so much resistance for the electricity to flow through. And your inner diameter is obviously going to play a big part into doing this, right? So this inner diameter, if you see right here, it says your resistance is at 1.934 ohms right now. This is everything on this website is always going to be calculated in a single coil, right? Just so that way you guys are aware of this. So we're going to change this inner diameter. We're going to say 2.5 at, let's say, you know what? Let's leave it at 8 wraps. Actually, your millimeter length. I don't normally touch this. Most people are going to cut it about a 5 millimeter, to be honest. So, and then I literally have never played with the spacing. You can if you want. There's just the gaps in between each coil. So, but you can see the way that I changed that the way that I changed the inner diameter, changed the resistance, but it's also calculating in that I'm doing this at a 30 gauge single piece of wire on Canthal, right? So we wanted to Clapton this, so we're going to select Clapton. I use nichrome, so we're going to change this, and there's a ton of different wires that you can use. I don't know why they have so many in here. I've never even heard of most of these, but I mean, you can do it, right? So I use nichrome 80.
This was probably built in an era where everybody was trying every piece of metal we could get our hands on.
Probably. And then we're going to set this to 26 for the gauge, right? This is also going to tell you what the millimeters is in case you guys are overseas, because I know sometimes they do it by millimeter size. Also, if you're using ribbon wire, this is also a good thing, right? If you want to figure out what ribbon to buy, 26 gauge is equal to a 0.4 ribbon. But we'll get into that way, way later down the road, right? So This is obviously round wire, but you can select rivet if you're doing that. If you end up using this, right? So obviously we're just going to stay with that. It's a single piece of wire that we Claptoned. This is going to also be nichrome because that's what I used, and then we're going to turn this bad boy up to 36 gauge because that's what we used, right? So let's try and let's do this on. I know Jay is going to have a big problem with this, and this is why I count things the way that I count things because of this website.
I still don't think you can get a half wrap. Sure. I mean, if you want to argue,
that's a debate for another time, right? But we're going to leave this, a basic, restricted direct lung, so that way it's not too high. So this coil at if I do this at a 2.5 millimeter with, this is actually for most people a 5 wrap, the way that is.
Mm-hmm.
I count it as obviously a 4.5 because you have 4.
I will say this is the only coil building calculator that does half wraps.
Huh?
This is the only coil builder calculator that does half wraps.
Yeah, that's fine. But nonetheless, so we're gonna do that, right? So we can come back over to StreamYard since I've shown you that, right? So again, I mean, this resistance is obviously going to play a part. Like if I change this, right? So let's say.
Oh, you want to go back into that?
No, it's fine. I'm coming back over.
Go on. There you go.
No, it's fine.
Oh.
You got mad over
all over the shop.
So I stuck that wire through the little hole, as you guys can see. Oh shit, this is weird doing it this way, right? And it's going to come out that bottom end, right? This, you're just going to take this. And this is weird for me. I don't like doing it this way, so I'm going to do it through the other hole because
he likes the other hole.
I always wrap from the bottom and over the top versus the other way.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. I do it clockwise, not counterclockwise.
Yeah, so it's just a personal thing for me. But that said, 5 wraps. So we're going to just take this, and you're just going to take this wire, and you're just going to bend it, right?
You didn't use the basic.
You're just going to coil this over the top.
Also, as far as like coiling jigs go, if you know the size of your screwdrivers, you could always use those too.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy little screwdriver kits and stuff. I know a lot of people use like fucking 15-30 seconds or some shit, whatever it is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you know the millimeter conversion from inches and stuff, it works out.
Yeah. So this is why I don't like doing this anymore.
Because trying to pull those out are a pain in the ass.
Trying to pull that out is kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, but I don't like doing that. Personally, I just hold it with one hand, like between my fingers, and then I just start to wrap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use anything else. But again, personal preference. You work with however you decide you want to do it, right? So otherwise, you now have coiled that up. I think I actually have. What do I have in here? I do have a 2.5 in here. So that's also a 2.5 millimeter inner diameter. I didn't even double check, to be honest.
No, yeah. Now I was gonna say on the steam engine, you had the legs at like 5 millimeters. That's after you snip them, is where it's giving you the calculation, not when you finish coiling it up. Because you can have long ass legs just to make your life easier to build, but once you snip them off, that also goes into a different thing.
Right. So the RDA that I'm going to end up building on is actually kind of old. And I mean, that's just because we're going to do something single coil, and it was the only single coil I had available because everything else that I have single coil is already taken up with something cool.
But also, when we was, before we go any further, when we was talking about steam engine, if you don't want to do that, you can always get the free app on your iPhone.
Yeah, but you have Android. If you have an iPhone, we don't get them.
Do you not get them on iPhones?
No, not in this country.
Oh, you can in the UK.
That's Android only.
Yeah.
So if you've got Android Vape Tool, It's exactly the same. It's set up exactly the same, and it's got an e-liquid mixer on it as well. So that's a free bit.
We'll say old school calculators and stuff run some interesting shit because like with the wire stuff or even DIY stuff like the liquid stuff, they have like a vodka calculator in there for some reason.
So you can see, obviously, I snipped those legs down so that way I could install this a little bit easier. But you're literally just going to take them. In case you don't know how to do this already, literally slot them through the post holes. Right, one is positive, one is negative, and then you're just gonna tighten down those screws.
Screw the tights.
Screw the tights. Fuck the Titans. I hope you're here, Derek. And then once you got them tightened down, obviously you're going to have extra wire sticking out, right? Like I still got to move this around, right? But you're going to have extra wire sticking out. That's fine. This is where that 5 millimeter comes into play, like Jay was talking about, right? So you're just going to take those, snip those off, and now the legs itself from the end of the coil, right, to the back of that post is roughly about 5 millimeters.
And if you have one of like those coily tools, you know what it means by like the millimeters when you end up snipping the stuff.
Yeah, I have one, but I didn't.
Yeah, I don't use them. I've had the ones that come with like the wood tofu stuff, and I tried it once. I was like, that's interesting. I don't care. Sorry.
I'm just gonna. All right, so we now are going to.
Yeah, what you also got to remember, just thinking about it, is obviously if you haven't built on a deck before,
Straighten out that coil. There we go.
Yeah, could you show the back end where the legs come out the other side? See if you can see both those legs are directly next to each other. You can either index them, which means you wrap one a little bit further and you bring it up so they're in line, or you can have them that way and then you just straighten it up. Because you will find some decks, especially like the OG Recoil, they're offset, so you don't need to index your legs. You can just slot them straight in. So that's always something to take. Oh, Duchess, if you've got a bit of wire left over,
I do.
Could you show them how to just index?
Yeah.
So show them how to index, just so.
I'm going to do this real quick, the way that I do my normal.
Yeah, that's all good. Well, say indexing all falls to personal preference. Personally, I don't like to index, and I know some decks do call for them, but it's not something I inherently do. And I'm trying to remember if you index. I know Duchess does, but I don't remember if you do.
No. I stopped indexing because people were fucking complaining about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
No, the only time I'll index for myself is if I've got a deck that's straight.
Yeah, what Adam is talking about, right, is that while this leg is still long, right, so these are facing in opposite direction, right? They're kind of like off of each other, right? So you want to straighten these out. So what I'm going to do, because I have a pair of them, is I'm personally going to use my nylon pliers. These are fantastic if you ever end up getting into like doing aliens or anything multi-core. You can clamp them down and straighten things back out and flatten them, and then you can continue working.
Except for a hedgehog, you can't do shit with that.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pull this nice and tight, and I'm going to pull this up, right? So this leg is now at an angle. If I can fucking get my camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? So that's now up at an angle, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this wire and I'm going to put about a 90-degree angle in this wire, right? So this way, let me flip this off so you can see better. Those wires, right, those leads are now facing the way that they're supposed to together.
And
so
they're perpendicular, so
yeah,
that,
this
that
way you
does
can
help with a
literally
lot of
just
times.
take it, slot it into the fucking RDA or RTA, whatever you're using, and
Or
they'll
something
both
like the
just
Goon.
automatically line up. There's a bad part to this though. There's a con, right? And I'll explain the con. Other than because some decks don't actually call for it. The con to it is that you now have that bend, right? Which means that you now have like an extra like millimeter on one side that you don't have on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. So when you go to pull those and you go to straighten those coils out and like finagle things and get your build all pretty, one side is going to come out a little bit further than the other. That is the con to them. But if you're thinking about it from an aesthetics point of view, I think they look nice.
Yeah. Because I've actually had people ask me to index the coils for them. So I just thought maybe it could be a thing that people want. So it's always worth knowing how to do it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people complain and they're like, I would rather just do it myself if it calls for it. Stop indexing. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll stop fucking indexing.
No more indexing. So if you buy Duchess coils and you miss the indexing, you got those people to fucking bitch out at. Just saying.
Yeah. So, obviously, next bit, since we've now gone through like how to actually build the Clapton and get to this point of being able to install into your RDAs so you can start vaping away. For anyone who missed it, go back, watch the replay because I'm not about to explain it again.
You heard it. He's not doing it again.
Next episode, though, we're going to definitely be doing fused Claptons. So if you missed the Clapton, then the exciting part is next. So you're just going to grab yourself, obviously, a piece of cotton. Everyone knows this. We're not using silica wicks no more. This isn't 2014.
You're not going to glow him first, Duchess?
No, he's supposed to torch him. If we're going back 2014, he's supposed to torch him first.
You know, the other thing that I forgot to do because I'm not used to teaching people is I didn't even pulse this coil to get the hot spots out.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And remember, if you're trying to get hot spots out, ceramic tweezers, do not pulse with your screwdriver.
Or
like I'm doing right now.
Your coil jig or with your other tweezers.
So
or pliers.
Once you get them glowing nice, then it should glow for me inside out.
Mm-hmm.
That's at 49 watts on 0.59, in case anyone's curious.
That is high.
It's a single piece of 26, bro.
Still, that's high.
With like fucking 6 wraps or some shit. I don't know. I don't count like normal people, so I don't know what the wrap count is.
It's not even the wrap count, because I mean like a 0.3, I glow them at like, or not a point, like a 30 gauge triple core alien that comes out at a 0.5, I glow them at like maybe 20, 15 watts.
Yeah. You know, I totally forgot that I need my fucking scissors, so bear with me.
Also, yeah, it's kind of like Sewer Rug said. It like you run those like at 30 watts or so, man. You don't gotta go that high.
Yeah, so I always start really, really low, no matter how low the resistance are. I think I start 15 watts, even if it's like a 0.1.
I normally start at roughly about 25 to 30 watts, give or take. And I know that's why Sewer Rug said that, because he's heard me say it before. That's normally where I start. And that's only because normally my builds are already really low in the first place. And so it gives it like a nice slow ramp up. So that way I can really work on it. But I forgot my scissors and I just fucking threw them at my MacBook. I have a pair of vape shears. You don't have to have anything fancy, but I really like these things. So if you want to buy them, I also got these from Saddle Horse Blues as well. Those nylon tipped pliers I also got from Saddle Horse Blues. I bought a bunch of tools from that guy.
It's like
Shane's
is Shane
fantastic
paying
human
you
being.
for this?
Yeah, Shane's a fantastic human being. So I'm gonna actually leave this cotton real long, only because one, this is a single coil, and you can see I have a lot of room in this fucking deck, so I want to
Yep.
fill some of that shit out.
Carry on. Give me 2 minutes. The little one's just thrown up. 1 sec. Carry on. Carry on.
Sorry, everyone. My son just.
Dude, that's gonna be on YouTube forever. That kid's gonna be 20 and he's gonna see his dad. I'll be back. My kid just
So all I'm gonna do now, because obviously I need to fill up this deck, is I'm gonna fold this wire, or I'm gonna fold this cotton over and just kind of tuck it in this deck just a little bit and make sure that we have enough to where we can still get airflow to the coil. So that way you don't have that. But also I want to shape the cotton so that way I don't have any choking points for the cotton or for the liquid to make it to the coil. Since I really have very limited options here, we're gonna go with this liquid. So we're gonna put some Plume Room's banana pudding in here. It's not too bad. There's kind of a weird off note for me personally.
we'll give this at least more or less like a all-around coil building tip if you don't do it already. If you're doing this in an RTA, do remember to prime your coils. Don't just don't just put it all together and expect the tank to fill the cotton for you. Just leave it primed, that way you don't get like an initial burnt hit or something, because you don't want to fuck up your cotton, because I mean, just save yourself time, money, effort, all that kind of shit.
Yeah. So I know from here, obviously we did just basic single core fucking Claptons. We are going to end up, just so that way everyone has an idea, we are going to end up going on to making fused Claptons and then making staggered fused Claptons, which Adam is actually going to do because he's the master out of all three of us.
I'm the shit one on that one.
Huh?
I'm the shit one on the staggered. Nah.
Oh, dude, I can't staggered for shit.
I barely do like dual core ones.
We're also going to do, we're also going to show off how to do aliens, and then eventually we'll move on to something a little bit more difficult. And we'll do, staples, which is just stacking ribbon wire and then
See,
doing.
Oddly enough, I could do staples a bit better than staggereds.
Yeah. So now that I have my liquid all moistened up on my cotton,
so moist.
I've got this at. I'm going to turn this down actually, because that's a lot of voltage running through it.
Mm-hmm.
I got this at 42 watts right now. And that shit is spicy. In case anyone is curious of what RDA I'm actually using, you can't buy these anymore, I don't think. I know it's a real old school deck. But this is the Vatefly Pixie, in case anyone is curious.
I remember that thing. I never got to use one, but I remember it.
Yeah, it's got a nice like two pieces to it. So there's obvious. I don't even know where my box is at, honestly. But they did have these little like peak insulator like inserts for it. So
different airflows and stuff.
It was real cool though, because like these guys like started on that train when it started becoming popular, of putting locking notches in there. So this barrel can only go on one fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you're gonna put it on there.
The washing. Okay. Sewer Rug, your question. What I do is I burn off all the excess, get it all off. It's gonna smell like shit and it's gonna be nasty. But I burn off all that exit, let them cool down for a little bit, then I run them underwater just to get all the like extra gunk off of there. It also cleans out your RDA or RTA. And then try to pulse it a couple more times till they're glowing again normal, just to get that water out of there. The wire brush thing, I used to do it, but honestly, I stopped doing that because in reality, you're more or less just getting. I feel like you're getting metal all over the fucking place, but that's just my personal feelings on that part.
Yeah, and plus with the wire brush, it's quite coarse. So if there's thin like outer wrap, so if it was a 40 gauge, you might snap it. And
Exactly.
sorry about that. I just went upstairs. He threw up and he's shit, and it's all up his back, and it's like green and manky.
Dude, you are having like the biggest like field day with parenthood. Swear, out of all of us, because we've had kids, and I've never had to deal with that much.
It's on the back of his neck, all the way up there. He's like, I was like, help! I wouldn't have called you otherwise. So she's apologising. It's fucking all over the table. There's sick on the wall where he's just doing that. Mate.
Yeah, so rug exactly, man. Like I just feel like the wire brush will damage your shit.
Yeah,
it will. Like I said, that's just my personal feelings. I know there are some people more of an old school kind of like ideology when it comes to the wire brush, but personally, I just never. I tried it. I didn't like it. And you even run the risk of like if you tug on that wire brush too hard when you're like brushing away, it could move around your build and all that.
Yeah.
I do basically what Jay does. I glow him low, don't glow him at the wattage that you've been vaping him on because you would just
like if it's a 0.1, do them like at 30 watts at max just to like get all that gunk off of there and stuff. But
and make sure if you're going to do that, don't do it on a mech with your battery in there. Stick it on a regulated. It's an extra step, but it's an extra safety step.
I now
stay safe out there.
Now have the cotton in. It's all juiced up. So you're done with the build. Time to vape.
That only took up most of the show.
And that was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose.
Yeah. No, in all reality, once you build, especially once you start getting the hang of it, especially stuff like Claptons,
it does honestly go a lot faster.
It really does.
For any builders out there, if you think we missed anything and or we should mention something, please let us know so that way we can mention that, because when you're already a little bit more advanced, it is a little bit difficult to kind of go back to the basics and like break it down and explain things. So
oh yeah, I mean, I've already tried filming tutorials. It's just I have to redo the footage because it all came out like shit. But it is interesting after building aliens for so long that trying to go back to like even just Claptons, even though that's what you do half of the time anyways, is do Claptons, but trying to like not make a decor. That's the interesting part.
Yeah, and that was my problem. I hold my wire a certain way, and it's just muscle memory for me to do it. So when I was doing the Clapton right now for you guys, my wire was loose on there, because normally I would leave it loose, obviously, so I could clip that end where I put the 90 degree and I could slide it straight on off and then set up my cores in order for me to do the alien. But we're not doing aliens right now. That'll come at a much later date, sometime in 2022.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, this is the last show of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the last show of the year. Also, we are the closest to Christmas that I know of, other than we've got, I think the green room is on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Then we're doing a show on
Tuesday. And then
which we'll talk about.
We don't have a vlog. The vlog is all done. So
he's taking a break.
Yeah, he's taking a break till 2022. So he'll be back after the new year. But I'm sure, much like any other year, there's going to be a ton of people that are like, hey, Vape Fam, Christmas stream, let's fucking go.
Yeah, there's going to be sporadic Christmas shows.
Yeah, I mean, last year we did a stream, and we streamed long enough to where we could make it through literally every fucking time zone.
For New Year's?
Yeah, because so we started on the East Coast, right? Because obviously midnight here was 9 a.m. for me. Or wow, sorry,
9
9
p.m.
I apologize. My
I was like, that's a long stream.
I just pumped out a lot of knowledge
I
right
was like,
now.
"What?
and my
You're like
brain
in
isn't
Hawaii?"
Mhm.
He was
What?
like in Hawaii at that
my,
point.
my brain isn't working. I just pumped out a bunch of knowledge. Okay, I apologize. Um, so we started on the East Coast, and then it went 1 hour back. So at 1 a.m. for obviously the East Coast, it finally hit New Year's for Central Time, and then it was the next time zone and the next time zone, and eventually we hit fucking Hawaii, which was like 6 hours fucking behind.
Fucking
And
hell.
then we finally ended the fucking stream after that. But we just
Oh,
hung out and we were like, "Hey, happy fucking New Year's! You finally made it to the future."
well, I think the Aussie Vape Show's on Boxing Day, so technically there's a Christmas Day stream in the UK. Obviously, the time's difference. You can
Yeah,
always catch Legion, Friday, Squidly, and Breezetones.
Yeah,
That's a great
Yeah.
show. You might get Birdman's normally on it. He was on the last one. He was dressed like Santa. He looked it looked amazing. Dyed his beard proper white.
did it?
Yeah, it looked really good.
That's fine. So
But
yeah, that's just to kind of sum things up before we get too far off track. That's the basics to how you're going to do this. You can pull the wire straight off the spool. I pulled it straight off the spool, and mine comes out super fucking straight. But you do have to pay attention to what kind of fucking spool you're using, because some of the smaller ones are a real pain in the ass, especially if they're like super duper Chinese fucking machine fucking wound up. Um, like with Jay's spools of wire, right?
yeah,
Those are
because these guys are a lot smaller.
real tight.
They actually
So,
still have this, but I mean, this is like the world of difference between a kidney puncher and
yeah.
other spool. Because I mean, like, there's Coil Society. You could get this size, or you could get this size. You'll pay extra for this size, though.
I think Jay's got wire tamers as well that you can use as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Do invest in these. They're a godsend, honestly.
Yeah. Spool tamers, bro. Spool tamers are a real good investment if you want to keep.
And they're cheap because I
wire.
think it's like $8 for like a 30 pack.
Yeah.
That's
So,
not bad.
Yeah.
not bad
So
at
you're
all.
not spending a ton of money on them.
I mean, there's things out there you can buy, but basically, again, where you're really gonna need a pair of pliers, a pair of flush cuts, your wire, a drill, your swivel, and a swivel mount. That's just the basics to get started, and obviously, a coiling rod and or a screwdriver to coil that wire up. Otherwise, install it, wick it, vape it. You're good to go. So that's really the basics. But really quick, do we want to do the coil challenge now that we've done that? Before we end the show,
this was set by Duchess.
this was my challenge.
So get rid of that. So the first one was Jay. So,
all right. So I got overly eager on this one, and I was done on that Monday after the show. I haven't sent you guys. I haven't sent the picture, and I was like, "So am I done?" But yeah, honestly, it wasn't that bad. I did go with the Homeboy Josh technique. If there's 2 tutorials circling around that you can watch on trying to do these. There's one from Homeboy Josh, and then there's the Nick Divine one.
Yeah.
On the Homeboy Josh one, the way they do it is you take the piece of ribbon wire and you just spin it, and then from there you just kind of like Clapton it like you would on like a Clapton or a fuse Clapton or what have you. Yeah, there's Logan. All right. So yeah, this is in the Goon. It was a chunky motherfucker. This was like the best I could do as far as trying to like build it up, because I was gonna put it in the Dead Rabbit SQ because it's a single coil, and the post holes were not big enough. I was like, holy crap. Okay. So yeah, and we got a little bit of glow action. Then,
that was a video.
yeah. And then I tried posting a video, but for some reason it's not working. Then I don't know. I just got like really excited. I ended up trying it again, and I was like, I'm gonna do this in dual mode. So that's where this came in. You can tell like some of it isn't as tight as it should be, but there it is in the overpowered RDA. As you can tell, like if you've ever like had one, it's a 30 millimeter RDA, and that just eats up so much real estate.
Shit, I didn't realize it was that big. That.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Bloody
here.
hell.
I mean, it's this fucker right here. You could just see it in there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
mm-hmm. So
Bloody hell.
it eats up a lot of room. They are some chunky coils. There's just a close up picture.
But did you enjoy doing it?
Yes, I did, to the point where I ended up doing, I think, three tries at this. I did the dual. I actually did them again in another thing. They're a lot smaller. I think.
Yeah, me
Give me a
too.
second here. No, it's not this guy. I ended up doing again in a dual setup. I just can't remember which one I put them in, but yeah, I ended up doing it in a dual setup, and I think they still came out pretty lowish. That's another one you got to keep in mind for the amount of wire that gets used up. They come out really stupid low, but I don't know. I ended up liking it. I ended up doing initially I did 26 by 0.4 on the frame staple, and then on the outer wrap I did a 0.4. Then I tried doing a 0.2, but that shit just didn't work. Then I did more of a mix wire where the outer was a 0.2, the inner was 28 with a 0.4. I would have preferred a 0.3, but I didn't have any 0.3. I really thought I had some, but I was completely out of that wire. So you got to keep in mind, again, like your wire sizes do manage your resistance and what's going to come out. But I personally enjoyed it. I like the flavor, which I was just shocked by personally. I just thought it was going to be some ganky, spitty shit. Personally, I didn't have any of that issue. I don't know if you guys did. I know somebody in one of the Discords we're in, when I posted the picture, they're like, they're nice to look at, but they're very spitty. So I don't know. I just didn't have that issue personally.
I didn't get any spit.
I haven't had that problem. I mean, when I first initially like wicked them up, yeah, they were a little bit spitty because but otherwise I haven't. So I thought I got real busy with work and life and everything else. So I literally just did these like a couple days ago. And this is what you're now seeing. So this is the final product itself. I ended up doing mine. They started his out, so I framed mine in a 26 gauge, and I used 4-ply 0.4 ribbon for the inners on that, and then for the outer wrap, I also used a 0.4. Just because I have 0.2 and I have 0.3, but I figured just to keep everything, all the same gauge, really. So I did that. Initially, I did put them in my Requiem RDA, which you're seeing right here. It was a 5 wrap, but I ended up having an issue where I took them out of that RDA because they were real chunky. I tried to vape them, and they just were. They were too close to the airflow, and it was like suffocating the inners on the deck. And so I ended up having to take it out, unfortunately. So I bent the leads back into place just a little bit, so I could slot it down, and that's what's actually in my Neo now. But I woke up this morning and I had a problem with it where it was vaping fine yesterday, and then this morning it just decided to hotspot at the fucking lead. Something happened. I don't know what it is. And I burnt out the fucking lead of the coils. So I took a whole fucking wrap off, and now it's a 4 wrap inside this Neo.
You didn't send me pictures of it in the Neo, did you?
Huh?
You didn't send me pictures of the Neo because I only got these 3 for now.
But if you guys want to see it.
Hang on. Let me put you on big screen.
I do have it in the Neo itself right now. And it's performing nice. This was the Requiem deck. This is the postless Requiem deck though, because I have another one that actually has fucking posts. So, but yeah, the coil just ended up being too chunky. But the flavor off of it was real nice. I'm still really enjoying it. It was real interesting to build it though, because I'm so used to doing aliens a certain way, of doing round wire around round wire, that much like I obviously showed you guys to do the Clapton, and then taking the wire off and stretching it and then wrapping it up, versus taking a piece of ribbon wire and twisting it like boy Josh shows us how to do. And just kind of trying to get that real precise spacing that you need. I also ended up having, I don't know if Jay did this or not, or if Adam did this with his, but I had a cup of water on the desk with me, just so that way I had something to dip my fingers in to help that ribbon slip.
I had major issues with that. As it was for me, I was just licking my fingers.
So I left water on my desk, and would just dip my finger in it and then rub it real quick, and
keep
then
going.
continue doing what I was doing, just to help the ribbon slip through my fingers a little bit better. But I mean, technically, I did two runs at this. I know I was explaining this to Sloan behind the scenes, but the first one, I think I might have messed up the way that the wrap was, or whatever the case was, because it just wanted to like Clapton ribbon around the inners. So I ended up twisting up another piece of ribbon, and then it ended up turning out like this, which I'm happy with, but there's definitely some perfection that needs to be made here, and I will admit that. So for all those that thought I was a god, you can see that I'm not.
Okay, I think. Right. So did you enjoy it though?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I would make them again for personal use, but if I ever went back to like selling coils, I wouldn't put these on the market. It's too time consuming.
It is.
It is very much time consuming.
Yeah, for commercial stuff, I wouldn't do this either. Personally, I had fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my first attempt, I managed to get 3 wraps out of it. Because I had a real issue. Like, I know when we first started this, I fucking hated ribbon wire, and I still think I do. But
to be fair, this is the whole reason why I picked this, just so people understand why we did the Tsukas. Adam always picks dumb fucking builds, and I wanted to torture him. So I was like, we're about to work with ribbon, and he's gonna have to wrap with ribbon.
Yeah. And I found that taking your time, like I've now been able to stack the frames without no issues. So I'm happy with that. But the issue that I had is after like the first round, I was saying to Duchess, if you look at the middle row, the actual ribbon somehow, rather than being stacked, will slant. So it becomes sort of like a jagged edge. So you see it in the middle wrap there. So that's the issue that I was having. This one was, I think they're 26.4, and that's wrapped in 0.3. So I went down again. So I ended up buying 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5, just so I can play about with it. Once I realised about take your time with ribbon, once I got the actual frames done, that I was right. But it was the wrap in the outer wrap. I tried the whole. I attached one end of ribbon wire to a clamp onto the shelf, and then stood 6-7 foot away, and then just started running the drill. And what I did was I had the trusty anti-Remella glasses on, and then I had the frames in one hand, and as I was twisting, I was trying to measure it so the twist was in the middle, just so I realised how like the distance is. It was all well and good, but then what you don't realise, and what I never realised was that it's not a consistent twist the whole way down. So maybe the first wrap or two, it's consistent, and then it will start spacing itself out again.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of trouble. I tried the whole Clapton in with ribbon wire and pulling it off, but trying to back up ribbon wire, it just contorts it massively, and I had a real issue with that. This was a better attempt, but this is 0.426, but that's wrapped in 0.3, and I felt that was more substantial, and it gave me a more unison look rather than being too spaced apart. This is a really bad picture, but because I think I stretched it. This is the one that I ended up putting in the passage. And as Duchess was saying, when he said he was getting hot spots, I initially got really bad hot spots on the first and the third wrap. And then I end up just proper. I know I said you shouldn't really be using it, but I got the tweezers in there and just moved the Clapton apart just a little bit, gave it a wiggle, and it just got rid of it, and it vaped like a dream. I got no spit back. I found that, especially because I put Banana Man on it, that I was noticing subtle differences in flavors. So not exactly I was getting more notes from a flavor. I just noticed that they were a bit more fuller. If that makes sense. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just a bit more of a fuller taste. Do you know what? I fucking really enjoyed it. It was awkward, which has got to be the word that I'm going to put to trying to wrap ribbon wire. It was fucking awkward.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah, I would agree.
One technique they always say is you could get like your pliers and hold them parallel to like your coil jig, and that helps maintain. Me ended up cheating and using that wrapping jig thing that I have, and I just held it with like my
to keep the tension in it.
Yeah. So I made 4 attempts on it, and I was successful with all of them to a point, apart from the first 2, which I think was either down to me pulling too hard on the actual wrapping wire that actually made the ribbon wire turn and sort of lay on its side, but it's still wrapping fine. I only realised then when I wrapped it and took the macro lens out and had a look at it that everything sort of collapsed after a couple. So I think that was probably down to me being quite heavy-handed. But I will be making them again because I really want to hone it down again, especially what I think is Adrian was saying, Adrian Oxide.
Oh, yeah, flatten them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love to give that a go. So I reckon if you honing this to a bit of an art form and then spending time flattening them out, I reckon you would get a fucking amazing vape off it. Not to sell, just for personal use.
Yeah,
there's a bit of something a bit fancy every now and then. But yeah, no, thanks, Duchess, because I wouldn't have touched that with a barge pole.
Yeah, you know what? Really, even though this was more just to torture the shit out of you, because I know how much you hate Riven.
Yeah.
I mean, the point of these challenges, right? Like we've already discussed before, is really just to kind of like help hone in our skills and figure out what we can and can't do, and then build from there, right? Just to make us better in the end. So I actually really enjoyed this challenge because I mean, like I said, we're so used to doing traditional shit where it's, we're using round wire for everything that I figured using a ribbon, a piece of ribbon as the wrap wire would be real interesting. So I think we obviously to go into the history of it, we have to give a big shout out to Blue Eye Goon 83 over on Instagram. I don't know if he's actually still building anymore or what he's doing, but he's actually the creator of this. He's also the guy that created the Alien itself. So, I mean, big shout out to him. If you want to see any of his previous stuff or what he's doing, you can go follow him on Instagram. That's Blue Eyed Goon 83.
It was an interesting build. When you showed me the picture, I wasn't expecting to build it that way. If that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The process used, I wasn't expecting that to be the process.
Yeah, I wasn't honestly expecting it either. Like I watched a few videos like a while ago, like way before we planned on doing this show.
Yeah.
Like one of these days I'm gonna do that. One of these days I'm gonna do that. When I get better, I'm gonna do that. And we finally made it to that point where we built them. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Bit of a milestone.
Very much so.
I think it was the first build that we all managed to do successfully that was a bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to work a lot more with ribbon wire now. I'd really I'm gonna try and do a bit more just for personal. So rather than just running aliens or staggards all the time, spend a bit of time for myself and
I want to see you revisit now that you're kind of getting a little more comfortable with the ribbon. I want to see you revisit the and not just for like a show challenge, right? Like that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
just for like personal. I want to see you revisit doing either staples and or doing a Fralien.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing frame staggards to give that because I tried them and fuck me, I failed massively. As you guys know, when I tried, it was a hot mess. And but I'm definitely going to be giving them a go because I think they look. I like the fact of being able to see the ribbon wires through the staggards. So yeah, I will be giving them a go, and I will be trying Fralians again. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this one. So now that we're up to a new challenge, this is Jay's pick. So what are we doing, Jay?
Let's see. I was thinking,
what are we bringing to 2022?
Yeah, that's all. Like, you know what? Screw it, because, and I do have like at least for me kind of situation here. I've talked about these before, and I said I've been wanting to do them forever. I got a little impatient and already did one, so I'm gonna give myself a handicap kind of thing. But yeah, because I have to. Man, it's only fair. We're gonna do some motherships. Just very simple, but not all at the same time. But you guys get to do just the standard alien mothership.
I don't
goofy ass
think I have the wire for that.
Oh,
I don't have I don't have any 42 or 46 gauge.
Okay.
What the fuck is a mothership?
Okay, so the mothership, in case you're curious, Adam, is you have to create micro Claptons, right? So you Clapton like a piece of like 36 gauge, right?
Yeah.
With like 44, 46 gauge.
Yeah.
And this is for every piece of wire that's going into this, right? So both the wrapping wire and the core wires, they have to be micro Claptons, right?
No, the core wires don't have to be micro Clapton.
Well, I mean, I've seen them done that.
Oh, nah, that's way too much.
And then you have to take that micro Clapton though that you built, and you have to alien that over.
Yeah, I have seen them. Oh, sure, that could be quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a small enough wire to do it though. I'd have to.
I'm gonna attempt the Fralien, but you guys just get to do a standard, just alien. And I don't know. I've never seen. I didn't know that like the core wires had to be micro Clapton too. That just sounds like a lot of stupidity.
Yeah, like hold on. I'll find a picture for you guys real quick.
So you would Clapton the 36 in like 42, and then you would Clapton that and core it, and then wrap that over 3 wires.
Mm-hmm.
I get you.
Yeah, because I've done that already.
Wouldn't you? Isn't it when you're trying? Oh, see, I wouldn't.
That guy's a mothership. You couldn't tell by looking at it like in this, but yeah.
I'd have to go back to the stretch method, the pre-stretch.
So let me get a good photo for you. So they did like Fralien sort of motherships for this, but that's the mothership. So you create a micro Clapton and then you alien over the top of your core wire.
Mm-hmm. And they look really pretty, honestly. Look, that's what that is right there.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I've been using it for like 2 months now.
Okay, that'll be fun. So did you find? So I'm guessing when you Clapton the wrap wire, you would tighten it on there because obviously trying to wrap it, you're gonna start pulling the Clapton, aren't you?
It gets
really?
interesting because like your core wire for the Clapton portion of it is thin AF. I tried doing it originally with 38 gauge as the core. Not gonna happen. It just kept snapping on me every fucking time.
Okay, I get you.
You got to go real slow with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process.
But yeah, we could talk about it after the show.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Songs.
We're not doing Enigma Coils, Matt.
We already did the Hedgehog. That was more than enough.
Yeah.
Came out like shit.
Fuck
Yeah.
hedgehogs.
That shit was trash, bro. That's such a
I'm sure Adam will bring it up again at some point. Let's do Enigma Coils.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know Adam. He likes to make his life harder because we never do that, and then he does.
It's
Yeah.
because I get overexcited. That's all it is. And I don't think about it before I open my gob. And I end up fucking myself.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So I'm looking for a second one, but first song is going to be Catharsis from Machine Head.
Okay.
And we're gonna go with Warrior off of the new album Baptized from Atreyu.
Okay.
Chat, if you guys have any song suggestions, anything you want to add to the playlist, we'll pick 2 out of chat this time. So go ahead and drop those suggestions in chat. We'll take a look.
For my songs, I want to do, because this is technically the Christmas episode, I want to do Jingle Bells by Korn. And then
dude, I should have picked Sandy Claus.
Oh yeah, that would have been dope.
Fuck. All right, I want to change one of mine to Sandy Claus from Korn.
We'll just add that anyway.
All right.
And then the second song is I Won't Be Home for Christmas, Blink-182.
All right, that's fair.
Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Right, I'm going to go for Hornet's Nest by Power Trip, and I am going to go for Deconstruction by Witchcraft.
Holy shit, Matt. I haven't heard that song in fucking forever, bro. That's such a good song.
So they're my tunes. I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots, and Your Motorcycle song by Australian Death Machine.
Yeah. Australian Death Machine, bro. Austrian Death Machine. Dude, those guys are amazing. I fucking love Austrian Death Machine.
Should we whack that one on as well?
I'm waiting for more suggestions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to order some 42 gauge. Just realised,
dude. Yeah, I have to order some real small fucking wire if we're gonna do this. I'm gonna just say this now. I don't know if I'm gonna get this challenge done because I have to order wire.
You got 3 weeks, sir.
I also get paid every 2 weeks, and then I still have to wait for shipping.
it looks like Sewer Rug's gonna win it. No one else, no other songs.
No other song suggestions. All right. Well, I want a second song. So, Logan, song suggestion.
Song suggestion?
Yeah. What do you want to throw on our Spotify playlist?
Akudama by Alpha Wolf.
All right. Akudama by Alpha Wolf. That's AKUDAMA
Yep.
by Alpha Wolf, and then we'll go with Sewer Rugs.
Sweet. All right. Fucking hour and 41 minute in. Done well.
Yeah, I think this has been one of our longer shows, actually.
Yeah.
Not the longest. We've had like 2.5 hours, but
Yeah, we had really long ones.
yeah. I mean, otherwise, that's
Sparse done.
looks like we're all done for this episode. So we'll see you guys in another 3 weeks. Peace. We're out. Just kidding. So sign outs. What do you guys got going on?
On Tuesday we're doing the Christmas episode, I guess. Technically it's the VSO episode because we're gonna do all VSO mixes.
Okay.
We are doing a Toys for Tots charity fundraiser type thing. It's $5 a spot. You donate to Toys for Tots. You send me proof of donation, and then from there, and you can send it to me on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, wherever you can get a hold of me. And then Tuesday we're going to do a raffle. We're going to give away two $25 gift cards to VSO. They've partnered up with us this year, so why don't give that a shot? Come hang out, and get some flavorings and stuff. In all reality, if you never thought you could get into DIY, this is a great and easy way to do it. And honestly, the couple of VSO flavors I've tried so far are pretty banging. So I would highly recommend you jump on this, especially like I was saying the other day, if you guys watch Fresh Out 3's channel on Tuesdays, they have a code to VSO that gets you, I think, like 10 to 20% off. I don't remember exact numbers here, but you attach that with $25 gift card. I mean, you could save yourself some real bank just by donating $5 to Toys for Tots. So it's y'all's call on that one.
When does that cut off?
This coming Tuesday is the cutoff.
Okay.
So make sure you guys donate that $5 Toys for Tots to help out some children for Christmas. We all think about our own kids, but think about everyone else too. There's some
not everybody is as fortunate.
Yeah, there's some people that are less fortunate than us. So if you can spare $5 out of your paycheck or your savings account or whatever, go ahead and donate that $5 to Toys for Tots. And I mean, if you ever thought about mixing, you can also score yourself possibly some liquid. So.
Yeah. Do you want to go next, Duchess, or do you want me to?
So yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm obviously still taking a hiatus for now from building. I mean, I'm still doing the challenges and I'm doing like personal stuff and whatever else. But I'm not doing anything commercial right now. And whatnot. So, I mean, I've not really got anything going on. Work has been real crazy and just kind of trying to get that under control and take care of some other stuff and whatnot. So that's about it for me. But I will say, if you are a patron of the cannabis, go ahead and support our favorite dudes from the Shed Time over on shedtimepodcast.com, your one-stop shop for all things Shed Time.
Okay. For me...
Oh, also go support Casaa. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's right. That's right.
That's CASAA.org.
Cool. Yeah, make sure you go sign up to Casaa, ATHRA if you're in Australia, Vapors Alliance if you're in the UK, and ETHRA if you're in Europe. For my side of it, currently working on a brand spanking new website, thrown some money at it, so no more Google documents to fill out, order straight from the shop. It's even included a buy now, pay later, 3 months interest free on your coils, which is a nice fancy little feature. I'm nearly done with that.
Are you doing Shop Pay, Klarna? What you doing?
Not that Klarna. No, at the moment it's PayPal, Pay Later, and Viva Pay Now, Pay Later. I haven't jumped on the Klarna ship just yet.
Be careful with PayPal because they hate vapors.
They do.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the Viva wallet the business account to be set up. They've got all the stuff. I'm just waiting to come through, but the website's pretty much done. So once that's up and running, go on there, hit order. No Google forms. Come straight through to me. Ship them out. No issues. On top of that, nothing more from me. Make sure you follow these two. Make sure you subscribe to Jay's YouTube channel, KVTV_online. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And go follow Kassar. Make sure you check out Logan's podcast on his Instagram.
It's Kassar Media podcast. Logan, it's Kassar Media, right? Yeah, Kassar Media over on SoundCloud. There's two different podcasts for that. One is a shorter legislation version. So if you just have a quick, 20-30 minute drive to work or 15-minute drive to work or whatever, you can catch up on what's actually going on in legislation, so you can stay on top of what's going on in this country through that. But if you have a little bit more time and you're just kind of hanging out and not doing anything, then listen to the longer version, and you can do that if you decide you wanted to listen to the podcast. They do have replays over on the Kassar Media YouTube channel, so not only subscribe to that, but also you can watch the replays there as well.
Make sure you guys do that. You got to look after each other. As someone says, Nick says, fight a good fight. Nobody wants to get back on those stinky cigarettes, so do everything you can. Apart from that, I am all done. So everybody, be nice to each other and have a great day.
Yeah, stay cloudy, vape like royalty.
Bye.
Bye.